Mediterranean, Egyptian, Macedonian burial cave system in Marion County, Illinois, and it was apparently an amazing place. What else do you want to talk about?
I want to take your attention to a couple of articles. Go back to the index page. I've tried to make this homepage as easy to navigate as possible.
It is.
It used to have all kinds of wormholes and all kinds of little balls that would spin and bounce and all these moving stuff, but when I was in Florida, every time a power storm came through, they would all go bananas.
I see.
So now you click on the articles.
Okay.
And then you want to click Ancient American Magazine, Volume 3, Issue Number 16. Okay?
Right.
Now, Horatio Ribnikar is me. That's where Harry comes from, Horatio. And Ribnikar is my mother's maiden name. That's
Hold on, I'm not seeing number 16. I see 17 and 18. What am I missing?
No, go back to the initial articles page.
Oh, I was on archives. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, go to articles.
Gotcha.
And then it's like the third one down.
Third one down, exactly.
Right.
Okay.
All right, now you'll see a new history for a new century.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of our trade logos. And there's also, back in the artifacts section, there's all kinds of little prizes you can win, games you can do, and where you can win something for free if you make a decipherment and whatever. There's some little fun things there. I want to point that out. And also, while I'm thinking of it, I want to also tell you this, that I thought of it during the break. I don't think that we covered or finished with the flying saucer and non-humanoid tablets, but I have seen perhaps as many as 60, and I've got photographs of about 52.
Who has these?
Different people.
Uh-huh.
Different people. Those are just from the collections that I have seen.
I see.
I've got one of a baby Eve wrapped up in linen.
Huh.
And I think I've got another. Yeah, I've also got a reptilian, too.
Wow.
Also, but A New History for a New Century is an article that I wrote, and as I was explaining, Horatio Ribnikar used to be one of my pen names.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good article. And I also want to show you down towards the bottom there.
Now, that's an actual artifact right there. That's one of the stones.
Yes, all of them are. Here.
Okay, how big is that stone?
Okay, well, are you looking on the...
I'm looking at your article, A New History for a New Century.
Okay, let me look at it.
Greatest discovery in the history of
She's my favorite. I love her. Isn't she gorgeous?
Yeah, she's very pretty.
And she's well endowed, too. I mean, she's perky. It is amazing how characteristic and how facial so many of these black stones are. If that girl walked into the room, you would recognize, hey, you're the girl on this stone. And that's my long-lost love there. She is so gorgeous. She is the prettiest girl of all the women that I've seen on the stone. And they're very, very handsome men.
You may have known her in a past life. Who knows? How big is that stone?
There is actually one stone.
How big is that particular stone here?
Pardon me?
How big is that particular stone?
It fits in your hand. No, actually, it's about 4 inches tall.
Okay.
It's about 4 inches.
All right.
And actually, many of the stones, I took that picture. That stone there is in South Georgia, actually. And most of the ones that I took pictures, I put like a quarter or a dime or a nickel or something.
How did you find these collections?
Because people wanted to help me out, and they wanted their stones deciphered.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, okay, let me get pictures of your stones, and we'll tell you what these say. And as they all fell in line, it's like, oh, okay, we had many people tap dancing on our court, so it was pretty nice. Mm-hmm. Everyone wanted an ulterior route to get to the tomb than having to go through Burroughs. He had alienated and burned so many bridges and made so many people so irritated at him with his untruths and his falsehoods that they wanted to wash their hands with. When we came on the scene, there's a breath of fresh air. Somebody who can go after this guy, because nobody else had the financial resources. It costs a lot of money to go hunt ancient tombs in southern Illinois. It is not a fun game. It is a nightmare, and it costs a heck of a lot of money.
Can also be dangerous, can't it?
It is very dangerous. Yes, very dangerous. But while we're talking about this young lady here, we don't know what her name is. It could be Lucia. Well, there are several stones of Lucia who actually says Lucia, light married to Helios, which we believe is one of Helios's wives, or his only wife. We don't know.
Okay.
And but there is one tablet that says it starts at the bottom right and it goes up. It says, "Beloved of the gods, Queen Cleopatra, with leaving out a lot of the vowels, Queen Cleopatra, mother of Helios the king, which is, Cleopatra, the seventh. Cleopatra is how her name was actually pronounced back in ancient days. Well, pharaohs wouldn't have known to do that. But that's an interesting article there that I wrote, and then if you go back to the deciphered tablets from the AA magazine,
right,
that's the one I really wanted to show you. When you have time, or any of your listeners have time, why Alexander's tomb is in Illinois, there it talks about Adirion. His domain was called Adirion in most texts, and Happy Land, or Land of Many Smiles.
All right, Alexander's tomb.
Yes.
Alexander the Great?
Yes, sir. He was the progenitor of the Ptolemaic dynasty.
You think that he was buried in this tomb?
Well, how many ancient kings are buried in a gold coffin? How many ancient kings are buried in a gold coffin that a guy from Albany accidentally slips into, pushes it off, and it has a death mask in it with sapphire eyes? Let the rock speak. Now, if you go down to the bottom, just take your scroller there. When you can read take your scroller. Here we talk all about Alexander Helios, and we tie all these threads together and go way down to the bottom to the very last stone. 15.
Right.
All right, and you look at that guy, okay, and then right below it, it will give his decipherment.
The decipherment of the tablet pictured in Figure 15 was first introduced on our video feature, Tomb Tape 3, and was repeated on Tomb Tape 4. It is a stone apparently removed from the main crypt that clearly depicts a famous warrior king wearing a breastplate emblazoned with a falcon. It is very similar in style to the Achilles tablet mentioned above. The script is read from top to bottom. And there it is, King Alexander of Pella. I wonder if that face mask is still in that gold coffin. One would hope.
And since we've made these claims, no one in the last 10 years has come up with a shred of evidence to counterclaim any single, not just a decipherment, but one single letter of a decipherment.
Wow.
One single word of a decipherment.
Well, sooner or later, somebody from the academic community has to come over and knock on your door. Has to.
I doubt it. With the script that we have found in Illinois, we busted 2 ancient languages that were dead.
Remarkable.
But once you get familiar with the language, you can see, okay, the B is like this, and it has an A sound following. S is like this, A is like that. And it's consistent. You don't have the A is a D in one decipherment, and then that same D is an L, that L is an N. It's all consistent.
I see.
And I would like to say also that the threads that are connected with all this, there are so many tangents. Science tablets, history tablets, geography tablets, maritime tablets, land-type tablets, battles of war records that happened here on this continent 2,000 years ago.
This is a huge amount of material.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. We worked very hard. And what you see on this homepage is probably about 2% or less of what we have.
Wow. Alexander the Great, his entire tomb,
and the entire crypt of the Ptolemaic dynasty, including Cleopatra the Seventh. So, well, why are they in Illinois? Because they got them, they whisked them out, and took them out to keep the Romans from getting it. And while they ended up in southern Illinois, they must have been lost. That's the only thing. People said, why there? I said, well, they must have been lost.
That's a good answer.
Well, thank you. I mean, there are some, the area does have a lot of game and wildlife. There are, many nuts and trees, a lot of vegetation.
Well, maybe 2,000 years ago it had more to offer.
Maybe it was warmer there. The winters are very bitter and very cold. And
this is, one of the biggest stories in archaeology of all time, and it must drive you and your partner Paul just beyond distraction not to be able to get some cooperation. Maybe someone's listening.
We thought years ago that this would come to light. And
maybe someone who's listening, Harry.
Well, and we haven't been ready to come out of the woods until like a month ago.
All right, well, you're out now. So how do people contact you who might be interested in helping?
Now, there's one other thing I want to show you, but during all this, we have been through like 3 or 4 Michael Jackson scandals, the O.J. scandal, all of these scandals that have happened that, you know, and this and that. It's like, you know, this would just knock it right out of the news. And it would be something that would stay in the news for an extended period of time.
Wow. All right, how do
there are going to be historical ramifications because the scholars that are so locked into the Columbus first paradigm
of course,
are going to have to get back. Wait a second. Okay, let's go back and redo a couple of things and let's start looking for things to add to this. And then maybe we'll go into that base, but you were talking about in the Smithsonian, uncover something, because we see this script all over this country.
All right, Harry, listen up. How do people contact you if they want to help or get involved?
Okay, you can go back to the index page, and you see contact. It couldn't be more simple than that. Just click on the contact.
That's all there is to it.
All right, and at the bottom of the contact, well, there's my email address. At the bottom of the contact, while we're here at the contact page, see, there's all kinds of goodies in this web page.
It's huge, yeah.
And click on the gift shop. And there you go to the most bizarre gift shop on the planet where you can actually buy some artifacts and ancient maps, old books, all kinds of weird stuff.
Fun stuff. Well,
fun stuff.
Thanks for being here. It has been interesting. I agree with you.
Thank you very much. Hope to be on your show again sometime.
All right, Harry. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Good evening.
Right. Well, there's one to put in the blender and turn on high speed and then see how it settles out. This is a remarkable story, and let's hope somebody gets to it and makes some real serious academic effort amongst the community about this to bring it forward. Congratulations to Harry and Paul, and let's see what happens with it. We'll watch. All right, and we'll be back in 21 hours.